I don't know about you, but I am so bored by most social media content these days. It's really become an extension of my distaste for most mainstream media that I've really had for decades. And by boring, I mean it lacks interest, stimulation, or any challenge. I'm hungry for good content, but it's becoming rare to find the kinds of things that I like. While my work centers around health, I'm finding it really just applies universally. Boredom is a signal for change, and it means I'll probably need to create content that I like or, be the change and just hope that people find it worth engaging with. My main beef is the degree of manipulation that plays on our fears. Even if you believe in sides, both are playing the same games with us. Sticking with health, there is a lot of money to be made if we are sick, whether it's type 2 diabetes medication, GLP-1s, or any supplement. The business goal at the end of the day is to fulfill a need and keep us coming back for the rest of our life. That's where the profit is: repeat sales. Here's an example from my days working in sales and marketing in the healthcare industry. When I analyzed the sleep disordered breathing market for a city or a country, I never looked at the revenue from a new sale or client. It was part of it, and it was the most expensive part, but I also looked at all of the replacement sales over that person's expected lifetime. Things like filter replacements, tubing replacements, new masks, mask parts, humidifier chambers, new devices down the road, things like that, service. That may not be completely surprising, but there are differences based on insurance reimbursement, provincial funding, contract pricing for the products, potential upsales. It's a business. Everybody needs to make money along the way, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would then create sales materials that played on the bad things that could happen without a diagnosis or treatment. I could lead you towards particular products or service providers. And while I was comfortable selling products and services to treat sleep disorders, not everyone has the best intentions. One that makes me laugh right now is something I keep seeing. It's a $200 package of soups and low calorie items that mimic fasting. While there's evidence that fasting can be beneficial, drinking soup is not fasting, and fasting is free. At the same time, I don't like it when someone creates a piece of content to tell you how bad it is for you to use that product. Use it if you want to, spend the money. Here's an example from gardening, and now I'm going to apologize for all of the videos you're probably going to see about burying your tomato seedlings as deep as possible. Well, there is a study that started this theory. Have you ever thought about the context? This particular study was done in Florida, and what they discovered was that there was more productivity on the plants when the plants were buried very deeply in the soil. Kind of makes sense on the surface until you find out that what caused that increased productivity was that the soil is very warm because it's hot in Florida. For me in New Brunswick, it's nowhere nearly as warm, and my soil is much colder at that deep level. It was actually the soil temperature that drove the tomato production, not the depth at which it was buried. And you will see it all over social media. You got to bury your tomatoes, and then they're going to develop all these extra roots, and it's going to be so much better. If you have a really long growing season, that's great. I don't. I don't have time for my plant to be growing extra roots and trying to figure out what it's going to do because I planted it into some really cold soil. It's as silly as every video that you see that promises if you do this one exercise, your knee pain is going to disappear forever. It's silly. It's all so predictable and it's boring. We're so much more nuanced than that. What I do for sleep may not work for you. It's just as simple as that. It doesn't mean that either is wrong. It's just we're different people. So all this to say is just take everything with a grain of salt so you don't consume all of the easy and sweet promises that are out there. Ask questions to challenge your own beliefs and whether the solution even makes sense. Think of the fasting example. And after all that, just be prepared for some to laugh at you because you're asking questions.